Any girls here, have you guys ever had a casual encounter with a guy that on the sole basis, disregard if you were not looking for a relationship, he had some baggage, issues, whatever, that would have disqualified him from a relationship. But on the sole basis of his looks alone, anybody here who hooked up with a dude who you're like, had sex with a guy and you're like, he's not good looking enough to be in a relationship with?
No.
Because I can tell you that men definitely have sex with women that will never, that they're just looking for the sex.
Oh, I've had a guy dump me because I gained weight. So,
I mean, I've had sex with a lot of men.
Well,
so like,
that's you.
But also men and women have,
so
you
some
do it for
of
work,
so like some of the men I've had sex with are definitely not attractive to me.
But also men and women have different
but that was
social.
for work, right?
I mean, I did it for not work too.
I think there's women that do
Just
it.
for the funsies?
I mean, yeah.
Okay, well, are you a sex addict?
No, not at all.
Okay, all right.
I think the woman.
Look, I'm not
to
disputing that, like, women will do a pity fuck every once in a while.
No,
okay,
I did.
This
I
fucking
like
Shrek-looking guy.
I used to
gotta
really
give him
go
some
for
pussy,
ugly men.
Huh?
I used to like really go for ugly men.
Okay, sure, it happens.
Yeah,
I
but
just like.
generally-
I just
as
liked
a-
ugly
as
men.
a-
been made
but
fun of.
As a sort of general principle here, look, yeah, women will have a casual sexual encounter with, I don't know, whatever. Maybe alcohol's involved, who knows? You got the beer goggles on, you're like, fuck, this guy's ugly. Whatever, I get it, it happens. But as a sort of generalized principle, I do think it's the case that there's a massive differential here when it comes to, like, we can even test it, but if as a guy, you're just pleasant and you're like, want some dick? That's not really enough.
But women will date the ugly guy because she loves him and he makes her feel good.
Yeah.
Like there's everybody on this
My
panel
friends are like, what were you doing
has
for
a
charity
friend
work?
who you're like, that's him? And this is you?
Yeah.
Well, here's my other criticism, though, is I think women's appraisal of men's attractiveness is very lacking in generosity, and women's appraisals of their own attractiveness or other women's attractiveness is very generous.
Well, women
very generous.
Women, we see beautiful women in every element of our lives, like just advertisements. You're getting beautiful women in your face.
Well, even in person.
All day, every day. And yeah, in person. But women also tend to put a little bit more effort into their appearance on average than men do.
Sure, I'll grant it.
So,
why not?
yeah, it makes sense to kind of see women and femininity as this beautiful thing that's shoved down our throats every day.
I also think I believe in masculine and feminine polarity too, meaning that women and men have certain fundamental differences, and I think women are more likely to see the complete picture of somebody rather than just on the physical thing, just because women are more intuitive and internal, and men are typically just more external and visually driven.
And I think we have an easier time seeing a guy who is maybe not so attractive. We see his personality. You can take status and whatever into account as well. But sometimes you see a personality and you're like, I know he's ugly, but he's cute. Like Post Malone is an ugly man, and that's okay. But like then you see his interviews and
I actually don't. I mean, he's a little, a lot of tattoos, and he lost some weight though recently.
Yeah, but I'm saying like in his prime,
actually he's not a bad looking guy.
Jeremy Allen White, fine. He's the guy from The Bear. He looks like a rat
from Shameless.
Yeah, everybody said like, oh, it's Rat Boy Summer when he came out with his TV show because he was like the new hunk, and he's not that attractive.
Okay, but I mean,
but
again,
people like the character that he plays.
But you're using Post Malone as an example here, and he's a incredibly successful music artist, talented, creative, has a good personality. Like you said, he's got a lot of positive characteristics going for him. And also, I don't think he's an ugly dude, to be fair. But if you put him working at a 7-Eleven.
But that happens too. Every girl on this panel has a friend who at one time you're like, he works at AutoZone and he's a 4 and he's not even that nice. Why do you like him? And they're like, he makes me laugh. I don't know. Like that happens.
Yeah, I get that people date people, but I think I'm more looking towards, okay, what is the gravitational pull, right? So in terms of the gravitational pull, I think that, again, you have these women who are frankly delusional when it comes to their own self-assessment of their physical attractiveness. They're going to be chasing a certain caliber of dude. I think it's a bad recipe. I think it's a recipe for disaster. Then they're maybe gonna move through their 20s dealing with these dudes. Maybe they get a situationship. Maybe it's a couple months. Some dudes will string a girl along for months or even years, right? I think what you have happening is that when it comes time to, like, okay, who's going to be my husband? Who am I going to have kids with? These women are going to almost have this sort of resentment towards their partner because they dealt with a bunch of really, really attractive dudes when they were younger because they could get sexual access to them. Now when they're a bit older, they're okay, oh shit, none of these guys gave me commitment. But I think I'm this caliber. I've dealt with this caliber of man. Now I'm settling, even though if you actually look at both of these people, they're actually equivalent. Their looks equivalent.
What are you basing this off of? I feel like you just wrote this story as fan fiction in your head. I don't know a woman that's in this position.
You don't? What do you mean?
I don't know a woman who's like, all right, well, I slept with a bunch of really hot guys in my 20s, and now I'm in my late 30s, and I can't find a husband that's as attractive and checks all these boxes.
What's the average age of marriage?
I don't know the average age of marriage.
You don't know?
No.
I think it's 1 or 2 years older for men, but I think it's like 29, 30 for men and maybe 27, 28 for women.
Okay.
Right? So, okay, what are they doing from 18 to 28?
What, are you asking me in
Dealing
my
with
scenario?
boys.
I'm saying, okay, what I was saying is I don't think you're going to get women who were just sleeping with super hot guys in their 20s, get to their 30s and be like, well, now I have to settle for this ugly guy, and then just be mad and be like, I wish you were hotter. I dated hotter guys in my 20s. That I don't, and then they break up.
Look, I'm not saying it's the case for all women.
I don't even think it's the case for most.
Women are looking for love. They want a guy that's going to be kind
Let's say
to
it's
them.
even 30%, 40%. That's a huge swath of the population. I don't know the precise numbers exactly. They are saying that I think it was by 2030, 2040, like something like 45, 55% of women are going to be single at the age of 30 or 40, something like that. So the singleness, that's pretty evident here.
But is the singleness just because standards that women are setting have gotten higher? Not necessarily in attractiveness. I get that you're saying that women are overinflating their attractiveness, whatever. I don't think that that's the standard that women are staying single for. I think that women are staying single because they want a man who is emotionally intelligent, respectful, who they feel loves them, who is at a certain place in their career or wants a family, and who isn't just like looking for whatever the next best thing that might walk in the door.
Just to be clear, the genesis, you asked me why it's important, and so I'm providing you with my answer. So I do think that it is the case that this is a phenomenon that's happening, and perhaps you're denying it. Are you saying that what I'm describing, you don't think it maps onto reality at all?
Not in what I see in my day-to-day life.
So you don't think, like, I don't know, what percentage of women would you attribute that this is the dynamic that's happening?
I couldn't even give you an estimate because I don't encounter that.
You don't encounter it?
No. I have single female friends. I have married female friends. But I'm not running into anybody in that situation.
Just curious, where do you live?
Philly.
Philadelphia?
Yeah. Okay. And I work in New York primarily.
I mean, you're in a major urban city and area.
Yeah, maybe that's how it is out here in California.
How close is Philadelphia to, or Philly to New York City? It's
about an hour and a half train ride, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's like huge swaths of women, for example, in like major metropolitan areas like New York City, where like you would think there's an abundance of options, but all these women are massively complaining about not being able to find men.
Right.
Deep into their late 20s and into their 30s.
And that's not because they're finding men that they're not attracted to on a physical level.
I think it's a massive component that women have and there's a lot of factors. I don't want to just put it solely on this, but I do think it is the case that because women have become accustomed to having this sexual access to certain caliber of men, again, I think there's other components too. I think men need to level up in a lot of ways also, but I do think it's the case that once you've done dealt with a certain caliber of dude, it's very, very hard to go back to Joe Schmo, Mr. Average Guy. And if you're an average woman, let's be real, like, here's what I see. Average women don't want average men. That's the problem I see.
I think it's because now the average woman is out earning and outperforming and higher educated than the man, than the average
that could be a
man.
component.
Okay, so I
That
think
could be a
that's the
component.
factor. I don't think
But
it's attractiveness.
I do think it is also attractiveness.
And-
but I would agree that it's also socioeconomically too.
Yeah, and sure, in the 60s, our mothers or grandmothers used to settle for guys that maybe didn't check all the boxes because they couldn't have a bank account. But now you can do all of the, you're
I
not
think-
limited by that. We don't have to rely on men to survive in the same way that
Well,
we did 50 years ago.
I'm not even making an argument.
So your standards
about,
are going to be higher.
right, but I'm not even making an argument about providing.
I'm saying that is why I think you're seeing a bigger disparity, because women don't need men. They don't need to settle for men who aren't checking all the boxes like they did 50 years ago. If you were a single woman 50 years ago, good
I love
luck,
it. Okay,
baby.
so women are deprioritizing the things that have traditionally made men attractive to women, and they're over-prioritizing what? Physical attractiveness. Thank you.
Emotional availability and support.
Okay, hold on. If women are deprioritizing the things that were traditionally, deemed a man attractive, which would be being a provider, then what are the things, the metrics by which women are going to find men attractive? They're going to be physical attractiveness.
No, they
Wait,
had.
question. Do you think women in 2025 care more about looks than they did in 1950?
No, because they had to just settle to survive.
But do you think they care more about looks? Hold on.
I think they care more about emotional availability.
I'm going to go ahead and grant that, but I also think society has moved way more into a superficial realm. I think back in the 1950s,
Well, sure.
people probably didn't, even men,
Yeah.
did not prioritize like physical attractiveness to the degree that we do now.
Absolutely. That just is inherent with social media and with the gamified version of dating that we have with apps.
Right.
And I think we're also talking specifically
that's
about the
not-
population that is prepping for marriage, not just dating and
Yeah.
being in superficial relationships.
Yeah. If you're looking for actual marriage, the reason that metric has gone down, the reason that less women are settling is because they don't need to out of survival.
Well, I mean, I suppose I could explain it like this. One thing that comes to mind, I guess, to perhaps try to articulate the phenomenon that's happening. Have you ever, you went to college, right?
Yes.
Did you live in a dorm room where you shared
No.
a room? Okay, well, here locally, we have University of California, Santa Barbara. The college students oftentimes are in dorm rooms up to 2, 3, 4 people in a room. There's bunk beds, right? And then sometimes there's like a shared shower between 2 dorm rooms, so 8 people to a shower.
Yeah,
or
that's a
there's like
suite.
communal.
I'm familiar with them, yeah.
Yeah. So it's very hard, like once you get out of college and then you go, say you have a good career, and then you get your own place and you have your own room and your own bathroom, it becomes really hard to go back once you've had that experience of having your like own private space, to go back to have like a bunk bed and having a not a housemate, a roommate. In that same way, once women have dealt with a certain caliber of dude, it's going to be really hard to then like potentially downgrade.
Women want love. It's as simple
Yeah.
as that.
You don't want love. I
Why are
want
you
provide-
making